You mentioned that you support the idea of people getting sick days, which is equally relevant. It's important, obviously, for folks to be able to take care of themselves and families, etc. And having a hearing is a great step to start sort of getting all the evidence. What we're hearing is that opponents of this measure have been claiming and sort of putting out the word that requiring paid sick days, 7 in the course of a year, is actually going to be harmful to business and owners to businesses, et cetera. Obviously, this only applies to businesses with 25 or more employees. The evidence that we've seen and what research has been done around the country indicates that it would actually be beneficial to companies to have this policy, and that productivity would increase because, frankly, fewer other coworkers get sick. People won't be coming to work sick. So a couple things. One is we're wondering, is from your perspective and from what you're hearing, I assume you're hearing from opponents as well as supporters of this measure, is that the claim you're hearing from opponents? And if so, is that one that makes sense to you? Do you have a position on that?
Well, I would say that
evidence at this point on the other side.
I would say to you that if this is good for employers, they will. I think you should make that case directly to them. And every employer is different. I don't think you can make a blanket statement that one government policy is best for everyone. That's the reason I believe in less government intervention in our lives, because I believe people should have the freedom to craft policies that make the most sense for their individual business, for their individual family or life, that an employee should go choose an employer that respects them and wants to provide an appropriate setting for them so that they can take care of themselves and their families. I actually had a letter from one employer that talked about how this would be detrimental to his particular business, because they've actually structured a plan that provides both pay incentives and bonuses for people that attend work regularly, that show up on time, and the idea of a government mandate of this sort would eliminate that policy. We would no longer be able to implement that policy in his particular place of employment. And frankly, he says that it would harm his workforce more than help it because of a government mandate. And so what I'm concerned about is that we need to make sure that we're not harming the good employers in this state that are doing a good job of providing innovative ways of compensating and rewarding their employees for good attendance, and that do provide them sick leave in cases where it is warranted, and make sure that we're not harming the good things that they're doing. And certainly those employers and you all will have a chance to have that out in the hearing process.
Mr. Speaker, I have a question.
Sure.
My name is Nancy Ann Wright, and I live in Kettering, Ohio. As I know you do as well. And I'm understanding that legislators have paid sick days. And so I guess my concern is how you would answer if legislators deserve paid sick days, how other people in the state don't deserve that same right to paid sick days.
Well, I can tell you that legislators are on a salary, and they have to work. And the thing about being a legislator is that some of them can work very little and some of them can work a lot. I promise you that as your state representative, you can count on the fact that you get at least a 60-hour work week from me, and I will give you every ounce of energy that I possibly have when I'm sick and when I'm not, to do a good job. I can't promise that for everyone, but at least I can look you in the eye and promise you that you get that from me. And the thing of it is that government does set rules for government. The question here is, should government set rules on the private sector? And I think that that is not a simple question, because I think a lot of employers do some really good things to reward their employees. I know that there are a lot of employers that don't do those things. The question is, how do we help make sure that the employers that aren't providing a good benefit package do, and how do we keep the system flexible enough that good employers can be innovative and provide a benefit package that really that perhaps their employees even like better than what we would propose for them in government. It's not a government knows best situation always, and I want to make sure that there's adequate flexibility for those kinds of good employers, and we have many of them.
Can you explain to me how this legislation will negatively affect that employer you were talking about that has some kind of bonus system?
As the employer explained it to me, that they reward based on attendance. And if they have to structure a one-size-fits-all system where everybody gets 7 days off for sick leave, and as they explained it, there's no burden of proof. You don't have to come in with a doctor's slip to prove that you're sick. And essentially, he says that he can't structure the system that he has that rewards people on being there and coming to work and coming there on time, because he will have to cover the whole system under this new government mandate. He says he can't afford it.
Doesn't make any sense.
I can't argue their position. I'm just telling you what they're
I
telling
guess kind of going with my question. I mean, you lay that out as some employer says this, but come on, it doesn't make any sense. That policy doesn't have anything to do with this legislation.
Let me just. The fundamental issue, though, is that should government come in and tell that employer who has taken his own capital in some circumstances to create a business, to employ people, to provide a service to a customer, and tell that business exactly how they have to do every single thing in life.
Don't you tell them that now? Don't you tell them how much?
Unfortunately, I wish we didn't do that. It's not my position that the government does all those things. I'm explaining to you what my position is on those issues. I don't think the government should do all those things. I frankly think that the direction that government's heading in that way is killing the American economy. And I won't participate in driving the state deeper into the heart of the American economy by offering more and more government mandates. Will I give you the opportunity to make your case in the legislative process? Yes, because that's what the legislative process is all about. But I'm just telling you what my concern is about this proposal.
Mr. Speaker, the will of the people was 270,000 signatures strong. As a person who got elected by the people, do you think you ought to be for this bill and pushing it for the people?
Well, first of all, you have the opportunity under the Constitution of the state of Ohio to exercise that option by going to the ballot and allowing the will of the people to be exercised at the ballot box. That's what the great thing about our democracy is, that we can agree to disagree on issues, and that you have recourse by going to the ballot. But I'm not going to deny you the opportunity to make your case in the legislature. I will happily open the hearing process to you here in the near future. I look forward to your testimony, and hopefully you'll be able to make your case.
So what you're saying, and I think that's the third time in this meeting you said this, hearings will be scheduled on the Ohio Health Humanities Act.
I will promise you a hearing and then give you the chance to make your case there. And if there are arguments that didn't adequately get a chance to be made, then we can have subsequent hearings.
So it'll be assigned to a committee and get a number?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm one of the 230,000 signed the petition. And on page 6 days, you and the legislature received it in January. And from the state, the Secretary of State approved it in early January, right? And it's now late February, and the bill has not gone anywhere. As Speaker of the House, will you submit today to give the bill a number, assign it to the committee where you will receive a hearing, and then schedule it for a vote?
You know what? I'll look you right in the eye and tell you yes, I will.